Welcome back to another exciting episode of the Healthy and Wealthy and Wise podcast, hosted by yours truly, Misty Magdalene Grace, also known as Magical Mags. I am an abundance alchemist, helping you alchemize fear into love, pain into purpose, scarcity or lack into abundance, so that you can live your best life, your best health, your best wealth, your best relationships by trusting your best wisdom within. Please enjoy the show, like and subscribe, and leave a review if you see value in this amazing show. And feel free to stay in till the end. You may have a surprise gift waiting for you on the other side of this episode. All right. Hello, everyone. Misty Magdalene Grace here. I hope this is going to take. I am having some technical issues. Hello. Thank you, Mark. But it is November 2025, and oh my gosh, what year has it been? I have been public about this in some ways, but not completely. I'm divorced, and for many of you that may be a shock, and for most of you, if you've been following me closely, it's not a surprise. And I've been getting a lot of amazing downloads. I just held space for women in a group ceremony over the weekend, and it wasn't lost on me that most of us in the room were divorced and or in healthy toxic relations of some kind, including emotional eating, alcohol, cigarettes. I've been having more and more women come to me with these addictive issues, self-sabotage, limiting beliefs, behaviors, and there's some certain threads that we had in common, myself included. And I recognized that we all had grown up very, very sensitive, very empathic, very emotional little girls. And we were told we were too much. And over enough times, our little brains, our little hearts, our little bodies, our voices shut down. And then guess what happens? What you grow up with, you usually manifest and attract later in life in your partners. I know for me, and I just want to preface this episode that is entitled "He Wanted Eve but Got Lilith Instead." I want to preface this episode with I love men. This is just as educational for men as it is for women. B, this is not me bashing on my exes or any past relationships, because, oh, by the way, this applied to every partner I've ever had in marriage and or sexual partners or dating. And I recognize it all started with me. And all of these relationships, whether it was alcohol, food, men, sugar, social media, all of them became toxic because guess what? I got to look in the mirror and take radical responsibility for my shit. Okay, so I just want to put that out there first. So please don't comment and troll me or anything. And especially my brothers out there, I love you. And you may have women in your life who are struggling with addiction. You may have women in your life who are struggling with their weight. You may have women who are struggling with fight or flight and living in a scarcity survivalist mode. And quite honestly, this is happening for us by us on this planetary awakening. It's the divine feminine rising. It's the age of Aquarius. Some call it the golden age. Some people say, we're coming out of the Kali Yuga and moving into the era of softening and balancing the feminine and masculine hemispheres of the brain, which this is all science and spirituality. This is not woo-woo. I just want to let you know, unless you are really closed off. And then if you are, you may not want to watch this episode. I am referencing religious characters. Eve and Lilith are religious, and I'm going to get to that story right here in a hot minute. And so I also want to just ask for you to have an open mind. Mark Twain said, an open mind can leave a worthwhile thought to be dropped into it that may help you have a paradigm shift, may even help you get unstuck from something. We all have limiting beliefs. We all have shadows. We all have self-sabotage. And it's time, I believe, for all of us to heal that stuff and to really inspect and have a lot of self-inquiry with compassion so that we can be the change we want to see in our relationships, our health, our wealth, and all areas of our life. So what do I mean by he wanted Eve but got Lilith? Oh, by the way, I did also write an article about this on Substack. You can go and check that out at magdalenagrace.com. Sign up, become a subscriber if you'd like. So ultimately, if you don't know the story, a lot of people don't. Everyone knows Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden. And the whole idea there was God created Adam and Eve. Eve came from Adam's rib, and she was the sinner who ate of the apple of the tree of knowledge and the fruit and the whole snake thing and all of this kind of stuff, right? Well, that was a story I grew up with, and I now know it not to be true. The true, whether you call it story, myth, legend, I'm not here to convert you out of a religion or into a religion, by the way. I welcome all beliefs, atheist, agnostic, Christian, Jew, anything. I'm a pagan, personally, after everything I've been through and everything I've remembered and woke up to from past lives, and of course, my purpose on the planet right now. Ultimately, Lilith, first woman. You can Google that. I'm not going to do a lot of citing of sources here right now. Lilith was the first woman, and she was a wild child. She laughed, she cried, she wanted sex, she wanted to be on top in the sexual position. She had a lot of emotions, a lot of feelings, and a lot of laughter and fun and playfulness. And some would even say she was a demon. She was dark goddess energy. If you know about Black Moon Lilith, that's also astrology. So this is many, many, many metaphors deep. Okay. And the divine feminine is considered the dark. The moon is considered dark. It's the dark and the light, the yin and the yang. And so ultimately what happened was Lilith got kicked out. Ultimately, I believe she left because she's like, screw this. I can't be myself. I can't be myself. You think I'm too much? Well, then I'm not welcome here and I will move on with my life, which, oh, by the way, is very much Age of Aquarius energy. And so Eve came along, was submissive, good girl, quiet, had sex to make babies and take care of the kitchen kind of energy. And that's what most of us were raised with. And this is also in defense of men. I mean, most of that was modeled to you. Even if mom worked a job, there was still energy. And a lot of us did not have healthy marriages modeled to us. A lot of us did not have any kind of healthy husband-wife energy modeled to us. And guess what? That all impacted our feminine and masculine hemispheres of our brain. So society, our parents, our ancestors, and thousands of years of religious dogma and patriarchy has been feeding us lies that have influenced our everyday decisions. And myself and most of the women specifically, we shut ourselves down. I even have an autoimmune disease in my throat because we were told we were too much. Very sensitive, empathic little girls, crying, wanting to scream, all of that was bad. Be quiet, get in line, be staying in order. Good girls don't do that. And so over time, as your age of your body and your chakras develop, that is a lot of disempowerment. We give away sex, we give away time, we give away our energy. And that is powerful, potent medicine right there. All of it is connected. And a lot of times women will then turn to alcohol, drugs, sex, anything, food, emotional eating to kind of like numb out. Social media addiction is so societally acceptable, but it's just as toxic in my opinion, alcohol. And I've lived both. Okay. And underneath all that, we couldn't let our freak flag fly. We couldn't be ourselves. So we operated from fight, freeze, or fawn trauma responses. And so I'm going to give you 3 key components here. This isn't going to be a long episode, and you can always read it on Substack. I'm going to give you 3 key signs that you may be more of a Lilith than you thought and less of an Eve than you've been programmed to believe. Okay? Number 1 is you really know that you crave fun, pleasure, and excitement, but you've disallowed yourself that. You're all work, and no play. You've lost touch with your fun side. You isolate, you spend too much time on social media. You don't go out with friends. You can just isolate and stay at home and take care of your kids, your husband, your partner, and you're not feeling fulfilled. There's like a deep void inside of you, and you don't have deep, authentic sisterhood. That's key sign number 1. Number 2 is you have a sex drive and desire, but it's not satisfied. You then to placate that and to numb out, you lean into things like emotional eating, alcohol, you beat yourself up for this desire also, and you may start to become passive aggressive, you may start to become repressed in anger, which can cause all sorts of disease and issues. You may feel really inauthentic as a result and hiding behind these numbing mechanisms. And you might also, another addiction under number 2 is toxic relationships. You might keep dating or having sex or giving your body away to partners to kind of feel better for the moment, but it's not working. In fact, you might have some fatal attraction experiences. I've had that. You also, another sign under number 2 is you might be throwing yourself into spirituality, personal development, addiction, doing a lot of plant medicine just to get closer to God or consciousness and feel that orgasmic kind of bliss and joy because you haven't found a way to do it sober. And that's all linked back to self-pleasure, sex drive, not honoring your body as a temple. You're abusing your body. And number 3, you don't feel like you have much meaning in life. It's kind of similar to number 1, but number 1 was more about being more of a people pleaser. Number 3 is more about you just don't have a sense of purpose and drive. Maybe you feel stuck, stagnant, or blocked, and you really don't care for yourself. You don't put yourself first, but then you also maybe don't have imagination around your career or dreams, your goals, your desires. You don't have an ability to dream anymore. You're a human doing as opposed to a human being. And that is when you fall out of alignment. That is when you lose your truth at the deepest core of you. So if any of those 3 things, and again, there might be some spillover in the 3, but if any of this resonated with you, or if you in your marriage have been told you're too much, like I had been. And I will gently remind you, as I remind myself, I married and dated, by the way, my mirror of my childhood wounding, my past life wounding, and my ancestral trauma. So all of these toxic relationships, whether it's with alcohol, cigarettes, so even plant medicine, social media, men, ultimately, they're trying to get our attention. We keep repeating the same thing over and over again, maybe expecting a different result because we get to be the change we want to see in the world. We get to break free as Lilith, and honoring her energy. The archetype of Lilith is inside all of us. Even if you're listening to me like, nah, I'm happy being an Eve, I'm going to call bullshit on that. You're repressing stuff because we all have those archetypes in them, the dark and the light. And I'm not even suggesting that Eve is a light example because she was submissive, she was passive. And I don't believe the true woman, the true goddess that you are is meant to be that way. I really don't. So I'd love your feedback. Feel free to comment below with questions, comment below with thoughts, email me. I'm open to feedback. And if you would like to have a free, break-free, limited time only session, I have my link at magdalenagrace.com. If you are a woman that struggles with addiction to alcohol, emotional eating, social media, toxic men in your life, any way that I can support you, that is what I'm here to do on this planet. After I've gone through so many toxic relationships with food, alcohol, sugar, social media, men, marriage, and recognizing that I was just numbing out my Lilith. I was numbing out my too muchness. I then believed as a result of that, I'm not enough. So I did all sorts of things to prove myself right. And I know I'm done with that. And I've helped a lot of women over the years be done with that. And now I'm really, really passionate, especially as we go into the holiday season and seasonal affective disorder time. This is our time to rise into 2026 together, unified, healthy, whole, complete, addiction-free, and living a life filled with pleasure, fun, sexiness, whatever the case may be. I do have my next Women's Yoni Steam and Womb Healing Circle on the 21st of this month. So if you have any desire whatsoever to be a participant in that, please let me know. Thank you so much for tuning in. And again, if you saw value in this, please hit the like button, subscribe so I can get more into the algorithms, and sharing is caring. You never know if you have a woman in your life struggling with addiction, weight loss, all of these other things. Please send this to them. Until next time, here's to your best health, your best wealth, your best relationships by trusting your best wisdom within. Bye-bye for now.